Hello, Chelsea grade 3 students. It's Mr. Fleming here again, as you can already tell. Thanks so much for taking the time to check out some of these videos. I hope that you're finding them useful. I'm doing them because it maybe alleviates some of the reading that's required, but I certainly understand that they're not the most exciting thing that you've ever watched on YouTube, but thanks very much for hanging in there. For today's learning package from the ministry, or this week's learning package from the ministry, most of what's there I've tried to describe in detail on my supplemental learning pack that will have been included in the email to your parents. So there'll be two items. One of them is exactly what the ministry sends me, and another one will be written by me explaining exactly what I think you could do to assist with your learning. Rather than just reading all of that again, I'm going to encourage you to read some of what I wrote down, but I'm going to focus on the last task that you're given on that ministry learning pack, and that is the appreciation writing piece. I'm going to let you see what's there and check out the video. There's a video that's narrated by Rashida Jones, and I recognize her from a relatively famous TV show called The Office, but your parents might also recognize her from different movies on TV. And she reads a story about Benedict the bear, and a little bit of a problem that he has when the bees go on strike. I think it is a fantastic story. I think there's a great message in it, but I also think that some great learning opportunities can come from it too. So check out the story, listen to it. There's one word that I think you'll like in there, and I wanted you to try and focus on. It's called unsame. Unsame. I want you to think about how that maybe connects to your own life right now. Things are a lot unsame, or things are more unsame as they were before. One of those makes sense. I'll let you choose which one. So as you're listening to this story and following along, I want you to think, are there any other ways that I can connect to Benedict? And take a step back and think about your own life, especially as it relates to appreciation. So during this time that honestly has not always been easy for everyone, we're having to change what our normal routines are. We're having to change a lot about our life. But take a step back and think about what it's done as far as you appreciating things in your life. So appreciating something like going to school, appreciating the time you have with friends and the connection you have with family. Maybe thinking about how lucky we are to be living where we are and to feel like we are still safe, even though it's a pretty uneasy time for a lot of people. We have fantastic healthcare workers and a great healthcare system that can take care of us if we get sick. So I know those are a couple of things that I'm thinking of. Also, think about when you're reading the story and listening to it, how much a small act of appreciation means. So, for example, for me, Mr. Fleming, I go about my business in the grade 3 class with all of you. And it's funny how much one of you saying thank you, which you often do. We have such a fantastic class. Thanks, Mr. Fleming. Or, hey, Mr. Fleming, how are you doing today? Or if Miss Gage pulls me aside and just says, hey, how are things going? Great job so far. It's amazing how those are such small little things, but how big a difference they make. And that's just from my perspective. I want you to think about some of those small acts of appreciation that people do to you, but also what you're able to do to other people. And if you can't think of any, maybe there's something small that you can do for somebody else. This story talks about give and take, and how sometimes, just like Benedict the bear, we get caught just taking and taking and taking and thinking about what other people should be doing for us to help us, when really we need to think about the give. What are we giving? If we're going to be taking, if we're going to be getting things from other people, how can we give back to ensure that we are deserving of those things and to ensure that other people have what they need too? So that brings me into the last part, and that is an assignment, a writing assignment, in addition to what's already there that you can maybe think about. I'm going to start a sentence for you. It has to do with appreciation, and I'm challenging you to show me where you're at with your writing, to write as much as you can about this. to really get into those the descriptive language and those describing words that we've been practicing. My life is sweet because ... you fill this in. So maybe that is just one sentence, but I'm going to challenge you to do more than that. My life is sweet because. Why is your life sweet? What are those little things that add up to something really big? I'd love to hear from all of you. Until then, I hope you're all doing well. Thanks very much for the time you're putting into your schooling, and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.